how you want to extend the story and take it to places people are completely blown away with?
Well, we have a big, we're a big writers' room. We pitch, so we talk. We really, we try to talk these things through really exhaustively.
That's for Team Sleepy.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are really, we're all fans of the show as well as writers on it. So, but this idea of Betsy Ross is a character that we talked about a lot. We talked about it a lot last season too. We talk a lot about which historical characters we'd like to see on the show, what kind of roles they could play, and that was always one that we've talked about. I mean, I think Deegan gets referred to last year a couple times.
Yeah.
I feel like Crane had a little. He soft-sold her last year.
She's sort of chasing him practically. He's hiding in the closet, I think was the deal.
Yeah, that story is 100% correct.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Crane tells these stories about. I think we set up with Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
And sometimes Crane's stories about a certain historical figure might not be the whole story.
Right.
But we even last year we wanted to tell a Betsy Ross story, and then we decided to hold off on it. And then this year we kind of felt like if we're going to do Betsy Ross, let's not just do it once. Let's really dig in. It's a great character.
I'm just imagining that wall with all the names. Like is Andrew Defoe there? Is the Moby Dick?
On the wall.
How do you
really?
On the wall next to those characters. I mean, the one next to our monster wall.
Your monster wall.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's interesting. We have a wall of characters, but we also have a wall of sort of just moments in history. Sometimes it's just sort of like lines of dialogue. Like I think in episode 1, Albert Kim did an amazing job of that. We've talked about how do you do Whites of Their Eyes for 2 seasons now, and finally he just had this idea and was like, everyone was like, that's awesome. So sometimes it's that. But then other times it's about an emotional thing, like that's a thematic thing. Like we want to tell a certain kind of emotional story, or a story that reflects in the past, a certain plot point for the present. And then we have this great writer, Joe Webb, on our staff, who has a deep sort of historical knowledge, and so we kind of will delve really deep into the actual history with him, and then see how we can give it the special Sleepy Hollow twist.
How did you
develop the new big bad kind of with Shannon Shostman and casting her in that Pandora part?
Yeah, I'm really glad you've got her. I love her.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's great.
She is great.
Well, we looked at as we were getting the season, we sort of looked at the way that the Sleepy Hollow has always sort of had big bads, and the way we sort of where our monsters come from, and the deep mythology of the show. We sort of realized that Moloch, we beat Moloch, and then we went back to the pilot. And the pilot, they say right out there that there's 7 tribulations, and that we're going to face all of them. And so one of the things that Clifton Campbell, our showrunner, sort of really hooked into was, well, let's call this the second tribulation, and let's sort of grow it from that. And then like writers' rooms do, everyone sort of got together and put our heads together and thought about, like, well, what is the second tribulation? It's not just a thing or a person. It should resonate on a character level for Abby and Crane. What are they facing? And then in those conversations, we developed the Pandora character, and then we were lucky enough to cast Shannon.
Well, let me ask you. People were talking about Reynolds coming in and being Abby's boss. But
we have technical advisors who talk us through the way that it works in the real world, and then we try to hew to that as much as possible. I don't think that when they were in the academy together, they weren't necessarily at the same level.
Okay.
And we will delve more into, we'll learn more about their relationship in the past and what it really was, and how that all worked. But we also on this show, we're a show that we have goat-footed demons, and you know, George Washington was a zombie. So you know, so certain things we try to do with some real, you know, as I said, we have real advisors and they really tell us. And certain times, like on every television show, the advisor sends you an email and says, "This is how it really works," and you go, "I'm not going to go with that." So you know, I think our fans are really great about it, and I think that this is one of those shows where if you drink the Kool-Aid on day one, then and you're along for the ride, then you know, let's go with it.
So who do you have a sweet spot for that you haven't done?
Who?
I mean, who or what do you have a sweet spot for that hasn't yet been done that we can look forward to? Come on, I gotta put
Come on, we gotta get something.
Come on, give us something.
I have a lot of monsters I want to do. Everyone in the writers' room jokes about it because I actually, because a lot of times, you know, people will pitch monsters and then for varying different reasons they'll get pulled or pushed or people have to get them. Like last year, Heather Renier and Sam Shelson and Nelson Graves, or a writing team, they came in all excited about an angel. They're like, it's Angel, this is an awesome angel story. And I had written a story about a skinwalker who was sort of, you know, which I really loved, and everyone was down with it. But then for just various reasons, things got moved around, and all of a sudden I had their angel, and my skinwalker's gone. No, but and it's weird. I actually ended up really loving that character, but we always talk about it like they're like, you owe us one monster, you know.
Right.
So, so maybe down the line we'll see if we can get a skinwalker in.
Do you write a description? How do you build that kind of character? You write a description, or you write a scenario, and then you figure how does that? Well, monsters are a weird thing to work in. I mean,
the monsters on our show are really a group effort. I mean, we pitch monsters, and they usually come from lots of different places. I mean, sometimes we try to. It could be a monster that you have a special place for. We usually try to find something iconic, like an iconic. Sometimes we take an iconic thing and we say, like, what's our version of that iconic thing? The Sleepy Hollow version. Sometimes it comes from a sort of a different cultural background, like Albert Kim, who's Korean. Like, he found this Yaogwai monster that was interesting. You know, so we pull them from different places. Then we have this amazing team. Corey Castellano, who does our creature effects.
He's amazing.
He is an absolute genius. And we have also our VFX department. Jason Zimmerman runs our VFX. And for example, the episode you're going to see right now, the Wraith episode,
that was so good.
Corey did an amazing job with the Wraith, but then all the digital effects that went into creating the shadows around him. So, you know, it's easy for me to say, hey, I want to do a Wraith and he eats secrets, and then we all get together and we sit and we have a lot of genre fans on this show, and we have also a lot of people who ground the show who maybe aren't such giant genre fans who go, okay, I don't really get that. So then we have a great sort of push-pull, and Corey, we talk about these monsters and all the way through the process in detail on a story level, and also in terms of their look. It's something we really, really care about. We're very, very proud of our monsters.
Can you tell me anything about who's playing Mill's father? Who's the father now that?
That would be cool if I could tell you that.
No, you can't. Come on.
That would be awesome.
So on the show, you're still seeing the Echo Dog Crane, you know, kind of like pushing back new technology and how we kind of commercialize Revolutionary War, and how our version of history is very different from what he remembers. And with Hamilton being so huge as it is, how do you think he would react to something like that if you can't show it on the show?
Hamilton meets Sleepy Hollow. You're going to do a stage version.
We talk about it all the time, actually. I think that Crane would love it. He is, as much as he can be a curmudgeon about certain, not curmudgeon. He can be. He can call things out.
Yeah.
He is a gigantic fan of the modern world. He's a huge proponent, and that's something we actually love about him, is that he is willing to give it a try. I mean, imagine what it'd be like. He's not one of those men at times that's consistently horrified. I think he's sometimes horrified, but usually delighted. And it's something that Tom actually is very, very, very passionate about and very strong about. It's something that he says about the character. And he doesn't really want to do, you know, poking holes in this or that. I mean, he's very convinced that Ichabod Crane is knows how lucky he is to see the world that the Founding Fathers built. And as much as it's not maybe always what he expected, it's always, I think he's extremely impressed.
I love that line that he said.
Wrap you guys up.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
So let me grab a quick shot of you.
I love that line when he said about his. I'm not going to. What is it? His colonial.
I wrote that line.
I know you did. I love that. It was great.
Let me
I
grab
say
a nice,
Steve.
beautiful picture of you with that wonderful smile. We'll think of the whichever creature we need to think of.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Oh, is that a con thing?
I've already